Sugtown, good evening. Chief?
Yes, sir.
Thank you,
Roll out a few chairs here.
Do you have a cash and check?
What date?
What I'm saying is,
Oh.
Here's his email. John has to turn up that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Right. Oh, yeah. Good, Happy New Year. Oh, what happened? New Year. What's happening? New Year. All right. All right. Yeah.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Oh, thank you, sir.
All right.
First gentleman in the hall, just so you guys know, he's out in the hall, he's been trying to get the building and stuff like that in place.
Okay.
All right. First order of business. You're all set?
I'm all set.
Minutes from the 16th of December. On to it. Second night. Discussion. Hearing none, I'll bring that to a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. And we'll write down. 14. 1/6/14. All right. Who's first? Dick.
I'll go first.
Okay.
So, I want to ask you guys about. One is, do you guys have any objections to me having Lisa publish something in the tracks, which is basically an apology for the Crane Hill Tree Farm for closing early, and promise to never turn away a Washington resident?
Ah.
I just, this is a business type of thing.
We put advertising in the tracks all the time. I don't see why.
Yeah, is a separate item, yeah, this is just,
You're not doing it as a finance. You're doing
Oh,
it
no,
as a
no.
Crane Hill.
Crane Hill, yeah. I'm sure Crane Hill.
it just, basically says, sorry about the inconvenience, and it won't happen again.
Although I would think that the opinion is a bona fide business in town, it's always made that claim every day on it, maybe we should take their license.
Yeah.
I was looking for a tree. I don't have a license.
You know, because I had the truck, Jan.
I know, she would
wait for me to come back.
I talked to Jan already.
Yeah.
I told her if she came, she would have found the sold out sign anyway.
She regrets very much that she went to your, she's wiring branches, anyway.
You don't have a drill? Yeah.
I'm not allowed to touch the tree.
Okay, so I'll send that off to Lisa then for next issue.
Yeah.
The, which is probably the 1st of February, I guess now. The other thing is, how about the concept of an ag committee and forming a town agricultural committee with the number one objective probably being the passage or at least the determination of the need or pros and cons of a right to farm law, bylaw. There's only two other only one other town in Berkshire County that doesn't have them.
Right to farm?
This,
Doesn't have the right to farm law, or does
it doesn't have an ag committee, and most of them also have a right to farm bylaw. Which basically says, basically turns away the people that complain about the noise of a tractor or the smell of cow manure, that sort of thing.
I'm all for that.
Does it,
Yeah.
and this is a question, does it have to be a town sanctioned committee, or can it be just a committee?
It's they're generally a town sanctioned committee. It's, what I'm proposing, I guess, is that I'll figure out who might be appropriate, because I'm not even sure who farms in town. I try to come up with a list, and it's not very extensive. Actually, you guys got any suggestions? I'll tell you.
Anyone that keeps animals, basically.
Yeah.
Well,
Sean's a farmer.
I do know the second largest chicken
trees.
I'm a bona fide.
thing.
I'm a bona fide agricultural activity, there's no question about me. There's no question about, I don't think there's any question about the Wileys or Pugsies, for instance, or the Hopes.
Well, do you,
Dave's got chickens.
I have chickens. I have a lot of apple trees. I have a lot of blueberries.
Okay, so,
Any deer?
I have a lot of deer.
yeah.
Most of it's nice to thin.
But actually, I guess Windows probably is in that category too.
Absolutely.
Phillips.
A lot.
Yeah, I got a garden.
Yeah, but do you have
I grew leeks.
I think it's mostly people that are actually in business as a farm.
Oh, to make money out of
There
it?
must be more than you know.
Well, but, people that keep horses, for instance, are generally considered a farm.
yeah,
They're losing money.
They're losing money, well, people that
Right.
go to Christmas trees are losing money too, but that's beside the point. So anyway, I'll try to come back with a proposed committee, I'll talk to people and stuff. And, like I said, the first order of business would probably be to investigate pros and cons of developing a right to farm bylaw. And then there's also some meetings that I got, I may go to one or two of those to see what's going on with other ag committees. Okay.
one hand not enough for you, huh?
It's a good idea.
Well, I'm not, I've actually got a hat that says tree farm. I don't have one that says FinCom.
So typically, just an ag committee is formed just as, do you know for a fact?
Just to promote, basically to promote the preservation of agriculture.
Yeah, I just meant in terms of a starting one, is there anything in Mass General Law or?
I haven't looked into this too much. I do have,
Well, would you check and see what neighboring towns have done, and if there's
what I did get is there's something put out by a group called Smart Growth, Smart Energy. It's got a model right to farm bylaw.
Okay.
And it does cite, Mass General Laws, Chapter 40A, Section 3, Paragraph 1, Chapter 90, Chapter 111, Chapter 128. And so it's, yeah, it's, as you might expect, it's scattered around. Chapter 90, that section I suspect is the one dealing with farm plates and what a farm, you know, for instance, you can drive a tractor, if you're insured, you can drive a tractor as much as 10 miles from home without registering it.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if an ag committee exists in MGL the same way that Council on Aging or.
Oh, so it's, as far as being,
Yeah, as far as.
how would be sanctioned or not by the time?
Right, you know, I mean, I'm sure we can create such a thing that there is a provision in the law for it.
Yeah, and if, you know, if that's necessary, then, you know, I would propose that we do that at probably at the annual, that we formally.
Yeah, well, hopefully we can do it just by fiat of the board and then we'll
Yeah.
be ready for the annual.
Well, then hopefully we'd be ready at the annual with the bylaw.
Anything else?
I'm done.
No?
No, just, you better leave money in there.
Keeping the budget away.
Oh.
I saw.
Who you on that list too, Bruce?
Does home rule guys like to list that?
Of course, that's tricky.
Yeah, we're.
Yeah, not that that's necessary.
All right.
You know, Mr. Parnell's coming in tonight?
I don't think he is.
Dan?
No, and I talked to these, once we were there, I talked to these people and she was very, she was a little freaked out that we hadn't sent it back yet. But she said that $266.94, because it was appropriated, that goes into that year's budget. So what I'm ready to do right now, and I believe Dan made this up, the 7564 was without the 266 taken out.
Right. And the other financial statement that he's supposed to send in, the one he's supposed to complete for this year, hasn't been turned in yet, and then we got a deadline of the 15th.
Yeah, I got the
Hard copy
right
signed.
here too. Let me amend this to the right number. All right. Piece is this one, which I thought I signed several weeks ago, but
That's the financial statement, right?
this one is the, this is the one I talked to SOAR, I said last night.
Yeah, and that needs to be in their hand before the 15th, or by the 15th.
Yeah, please sign the two council on aging contracts and return to me two council on aging contracts. All right, I'll sign that.
Yeah, without that, they won't sign for the $4,000 if I.
Yeah, she was all worried that we were gonna lose our funding.
Yeah.
What did you guys come up with as far as working council? With Jan and Joe?
Oh, they worked on getting the list for me for the readings, for the annual declarations. And we're gonna take that list and compile it against a birth list and, birth date list rather, and against a obituary list,
Okay.
and send out the proper invitations.
Joe is cleaning that
Was that, what's your idea, how many people want to show up? Well, it may be early February at this point, because we're not gonna make the 17th, we start working on this, even if we're to get all this information today, we're gonna have enough time.
We can do Valentine's Day.
We can do it, actually not a bad idea, pick a sweetheart day of it.
So for the record, I filled out this form and for the, balance, which is we'll be reducing, so that's great, so we'll reduce this grant by that amount. I would turn this over to somebody who promises to Xerox and keep copies and send them.
Send the original sign.
We will get.
Might as well keep that with the copies. Person, council, program director, council. Okay, good. Yes.
I did think of one other thing. I gave Jody to mail in that annual form, Department of Education.
Oh,
How much we spent.
Okay,
Yeah.
transportation.
We spent a grand total of $76 last year on vocational education, so don't expect a big,
This is a good thing.
don't expect a big chapter 70
Not
reimbursement.
spending money is okay. All right.
That means, there'll be another zero on our cherry sheet next year.
Is there anything else, Jeff?
No, at this point, there's nothing else, except for that, like on that table. Fix the table thing. I'm not saying it any easier this time. Because when I move it, it almost falls over. And I had, my wife came over to help me do it one day, I almost fell down, and she said, "You need help?" And I said, "You're gonna go there and help me?" I almost fell down. She's not a social person.
What's it mean, do we know?
Huh?
What's the leg mean?
Something to stand on.
It's like this one,
Yeah, it needs to be welded.
welded.
There's
You got a
that
welder down there, you got a big welder.
Just
don't you?
tack on that base to that rod, and you're gonna find it won't swivel, that's the best thing for it.
Great.
Superintendent Fish, did you take care of that?
I think so.
Now, it's no big
There's no
deal.
bolt that runs up through it?
Wouldn't go by the bolt thing, Dave, at this point, you're gonna have to tack on that leg around that
What happens
base.
to the bolt? This is threaded in a red string or something?
Yeah, well, you know what, they're all crappy. They're heavy tables.
How are they fastened? How are they
Try with
supposed
a
to be?
bolt, that, screw, not rather than a rod,
No.
typically, no, it's.
It's way off center.
Hey, flip them over, Dave, we'll check them out.
Yeah.
That's a pretty complicated thing right there.
We
We better get a professional in here to look at that.
It almost fell down,
Unbelievable.
and jammed. That's not a good deal.
Right, we don't want to break, yeah.
That's the repair to
Yes.
your tender mercies,
Yeah.
whatever you think best. If you run over.
We'll take them out, put big blocks in the wood there
Fix
instead.
it, they will send
No,
some-
I'll paint it.
Two
tape.
Two tape. All right.
But make it safe, that's all. Right.
We'll put that top priority, fix the
Chief,
table
we're
adjust.
broken.
Don't
Yes,
miss it.
what you got for us?
We'll drop
I
it.
just dropped off some things for nice and warm.
Yeah?
For my kids. Their grades.
Okay. You're selling it to the town?
Pardon me?
You're selling it to the town?
For Annabelle.
Oh. All right, that's better. Good, wonderful.
You made it to one holes tonight.
Girlfriends, boyfriends. They're eating me out of house. Back to school. I'm thinking I go down to Price Chopper every day.
Start buying the cheap ones, be surprised how quick they sell.
We had a full house for over a week. It's astonishing how many times there was.
14 pounds of rice lasts a long time.
All right.
Rice and ketchup, there you go.
Anything new on the Drugman's claim, or are we?
I haven't heard anything more.
Okay.
What about our tree reports there?
I don't know. And if you're not hearing from the Drugmans, I would say, I think it's.
Well, the way we left it provide the insurance company.
Exactly.
Yep.
With, you know, evidence of claim and loss. So, you know, if they want to pursue the insurance company and charge them for trees, fine. They would do it that way. If on the other hand, they are satisfied with the status quo, that's okay.
And the town tree board holds them.
But as far as our claim for reimbursement of some of the work that was done there, that's it. Okay. Anything else?
Really good. Driveway. He was here early.
Dan is here? Okay. You might, tell you what, Jeff, you might want to run that,
I don't know if he's here now, he's here earlier.
yeah, run that form by him, just to make sure I did it right. And he may want to sign it. Mr. Bond, what can we do for you?
Just smile and carry on.
All right.
What can I do for you?
It's good to see your smile. We have, I guess we could have one or two other things here. You're on the hook for, at least it says you're on the hook, to you, to give paperwork on Ms. Taylor's performance review and
Yeah.
job description.
Again? I have it on my desk. I'll meet with her and go over stuff. We wanted to order better cleaning equipment.
Another major issue that's come up is a custodian's closet door lock.
I set her up with a key.
Okay, oh, that's done.
I believe so.
How many other big things here?
Thankful for that.
All right, we haven't heard from Comer, and it seems to me that on the 16th of December, that's right. All right, holiday season, blah, blah, blah. Let's give another week here, we'll start getting
I have an update on Washington Mountain Road. if you want.
Oh, yes, let's hear an update on Washington Mountain Road.
I saw Mark Moore, the chief engineer today, and I said, anything new on Washington Mountain Road? And he said, no. So that's the,
All right.
I think we're done.
All right, no news.
no, actually, there was a surveyor out there today,
Was there?
out in front of Lillian's house.
Do we know if we got the culvert thing cleared?
As far as I know, we do, but it has not gone out to bid yet. So I'm a little concerned with that, because I thought it was supposed to go out.
Yeah, that's what Peter and I was told, but only the first one here, so we're getting it some great. All right, nothing new on first place either that I've heard. I will contact our friend Pittsfield about 5 acres.
I saw them today. I did not.
Yeah.
I didn't think that the mayor's inauguration was like, hey, you're gonna give us a 5 acres or what?
So, and the same thing, I will start pursuing our friends in Hinsdale. The long-term issues.
I did talk to John Bartels, by the way, from Dalton,
Yes.
and he said as far as they're concerned, they're not gonna do anything until Hensdale does something. Yeah.
Well, I'll do my best to get through the fog of war that's going on in Hinsdale. See if I can talk to somebody who will actually respond. All right. We have a National Bridge inspection, which I think this one is to us, copied to you, David, and it's the Cross Place Bridge, I think. Depot Brook.
It's kind of a waste of time to
Lower Valley.
inspect that bridge.
Uh,
Oh, well, I mean, it's already been
Yeah, I know,
declared unsafe and,
but they have their process and they have to review it. So this is both Lower Valley Depot Brook and,
Lower Sergeant?
no, Cross Place Depot Brook and Lower Valley Depot Brook. And it says there's a loose bolt that's been identified with orange string on the west end of the wall.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that. Lower Sergeant,
Huh?
the bridge on Lower Sergeant.
This does not have anything about Lower Sergeant.
No, I was just about ready to bring up something about that, is that bridge I know is insufficient, Lower Sergeant. It has railroad tracks for beams.
Yeah.
Would it be wise to inquire about the use of another Bailey Bridge for that?
I would do this. I think I would ask a DOT inspector first.
If I ask them to inspect it, then they have to inspect it, is how it was put to me, and once they inspect it, it'd be closed. I know it would be because the materials that are in the bridge are not up to standard. And so that's what they told me at the bridge department down Mass
You
Highway.
got a copy of this thing, right? Of these two?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
But they said if we ask them to inspect the bridge, and then it becomes theirs. And so once they come out and they look at it and they determine it doesn't meet criteria, then they have to close
And
it.
if we had to close it, how bad would that be? How many people actually go?
What?
that way?
Actually, I don't, you'd probably be surprised, probably a lot of people from Cross Place
Yeah,
and Johnson Hill use that road,
yeah.
actually, I think.
Particularly good road.
I don't, Jan, do you use that road, Lower Sergeant? Do you come up that
But
way?
if you're going,
No.
yeah, even if you're going south?
Yes,
Okay. You still go out?
we go out to the,
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah.
It's really not that.
So you think I should ask the state to inspect that?
Is it, may I say something?
Sure.
I know that Paul Kuiper was very apprehensive in doing that,
Oh, yeah.
because something came up somewhere along the line that if they came in there and looked at that, A, they're going to close it. And this is almost saying exactly what he said. They'll close that road, which would make it a dead end, and but there's still plenty of room to go down just a little bit further and get around. So there's no need to actually use that road. But one of the problems is if they do decide to fix it, the bridge is going to be to new specifications of the road being this wide and the bridge being this wide.
Oh, yeah.
And that was the concern of that.
Meaning that we would also have to upgrade the road.
Yes.
You have to what?
Upgrade the road.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so-
Minimum width.
Paul, he has a lot of information on that, because I know that was brought up a number of years ago. And he had the information.
Well, I can see why he wouldn't want it upgraded.
Oh, no,
But what I'm saying is if we ask, well, even if they close it, we still have the option to put a Bailey Bridge in.
Right, and which is what you're thinking anyway.
Right, because
Plus it gets,
The state's sitting down there without.
Plus we
how
raise
many
the
Bailey
issue that
bridges.
it needs to be fixed.
But then it would be a safer, if we're gonna leave it open, we should leave it safe open.
Yes, I think if we have a road, then.
Because there's a lot of trucks I believe that go over
We
that.
have discussed it, it's a matter of public record, let's get DOT routes
Okay, I'll do that.
and see what happens.
But yeah, I just,
If they close it, people complain, we'll have complainant to
Well, how long is that bridge in Chester closed? 5 years?
oh, anyway, right? But maybe more. Seemed like a long time.
what, you mean that in Town Bridge?
Yeah.
Oh, that was closed for about 15 years,
Is it that long? Yeah.
15 to 20 years, until the state got around to fixing it.
Even the one on Skyline was closed for a long time.
Yep.
Yeah.
yeah, that's not gonna be.
Lower Sarge.
No,
Okay.
it's probably bottom of the heat.
Okay.
And then also down in Chester, they changed this bridge, it's a bridge that goes nowhere. It goes down the dead end road. And they made a bridge down there, and I don't know what it cost, but big, long bridge.
It goes
and
right,
crosses a stream,
well, yeah,
and
so you
then-
go around to the lawnmower.
and then it goes nowhere.
I thought that was Alaska.
Oh,
The
good.
bridge to nowhere.
What is that, what is the
Yes.
Okay, anything else? Superintendent Fish, what else is going on?
Everything is going okay.
Okay. You hearing any complaints about your road improvements?
No, not about my road.
I haven't heard any either. That's a good thing.
Yes,
How are the snow fences working?
they're still putting snow out on the road, but I believe they probably do something. You know, really should be taller, but they do something. I don't know, I think it's better than it used to be when I was a kid.
Something.
But that's because of all the trees growing up.
It's 4 feet tall, has holes in it, I don't know. You think it does it?
It does actually.
Something, yeah. They make it for a reason.
It makes the wind tumble,
Yeah.
blows the stuff to the ground, I think, is what it does. The majority of it.
Well, if that snowmobile club leaves their groomer up there,
Oh,
use them at night. Oh, you-
yeah.
Did Glenn, Mr. Grogan get a date of loss from you on the property damage?
Oh, I believe I told
He
that.
must have, otherwise it couldn't.
Yeah.
Did you get a price for a precast bridge?
I haven't, because I don't have enough information yet. To get a proper-
Just keep that.
Yeah, I am supposed to meet with Phil tomorrow about the notice of intent.
Okay, good.
I know that was coming up next.
Yeah. And do you know, do you know if Glenn has amended the personnel file to reflect the $150 boot allowance?
I don't know if he actually meant it.
Personnel policy. Ask him.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else you want to take on?
Everything's going,
All right,
Good.
Good. No bad breakdowns, you guys are keeping.
oh yeah, but we've been fixing them just as fast. 550, we did rotors, calipers, rear parking brake shoes, backing plates, and pads all the way around the other day. Because the caliper started leaking. It was 7 years old. So the rotors were bad anyway, the parking brakes were starting not to hold. So we just did the whole thing, so now we got brand new parking brakes, backup plates, rotors, calipers.
Another $100.
If you never park it, you won't need the parking brakes.
Well, it has this position P there, but I don't trust it on the hill. I still put the parking brake on as well. They don't call it emergency brakes anymore.
No, it's just we don't have emergencies. Chief Breen, do we have a door, sign inside the door with instructions on how to lock the building?
Say that again?
It says right here that you're going to put a sign on the inside of the two outer doors with instructions on how to lock and well, not unlock because they're in the building, but lock the building.
Really?
That came up a few weeks ago. There was some foley roll about somebody left the building unlocked.
Yeah, I remember saying that the building is left unlocked a number of times,
And
which
it was
happened again.
It was the desire of the board that there be a sign put up explaining to people how to lock the door.
I'll be happy to do that, but this is the first I've known of it.
Okay, no. It happened again because that sign was.
Yes, that's right. Because it just happened during the vacation, Christmas break. But we need to fix that door out here.
Which one? This one?
This here, because you can't, unless you know how to lift up that rod, you can't get in or out of the building.
Brand new.
That's why I have a newspaper stuck in the door there, so you can come in.
Brand new door. that's all
Yeah,
you do.
it sounds like our friends who installed it should fix that. Jody, would you let Ed Bond know that that front door is not working properly?
Yes,
Okay. Well, while you're here,
yes.
what else we got? Are we still waiting for job descriptions for anybody?
I
can't answer that question without doing a review. It's been a while.
Okay, well, all right.
Jan and I will have a definitive answer for you, or,
We're not. Okay.
yeah, we're both working the project, but both of us haven't touched it in a long time.
Okay, did we get an estimate from, forgive me, we might have gone over this last week, or last time, from John West for the computers to put on?
No, he didn't, but what he did is he came in and took care of Dan's right away, because Dan was vulnerable.
Okay. Is Dan in? I wasn't sure I saw him.
Dan is in, yeah. And he took the COA computer and, updated that software as well, free software.
Very good, okay. So did Dan say I did it right?
No,
Did he fix it?
he didn't have to fix it, he just had to sign on.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, we will copy it.
All right, well, I mean,
You can, thanks.
if he doesn't want to use an estimate, he can't undo the work, so.
What you said you did.
Anything else? Anything else? No, I wanted to, starting next time, I'd like to devote a little bit of time every week to the Board of Health. So
Okay,
any stuff just bring the Board of Health file.
okay, so a separate file.
Yeah, I don't think we're running into a lot of things to do, but,
I was wondering if the board wanted to see a list similar to what they see with the building inspector.
yes, I would.
Okay,
And I would like to see a reconciliation of the money we take in and the money versus what we're spending, what we're giving Berkshire Public Health.
okay, so that time frame would be when an invoice comes in, do a have the reconciliation.
We
with
should
this-
we should see what we have charged, what we have spent. Very simple.
But the-
Line item, Joe Schmo's Title V, we charged X, so we paid Berkshire Public Health Y.
Okay.
Very simple. And I think Dan would be more than happy to help with that. I think you would like that.
Yeah, we have had done that in the past. It got away from us, it got away from me. When we switched from
Truth and
Ed to
dare.
Scott, because me and Ed were working
Right.
really good.
Yeah, and then we.
And then me and Ed are, me and Scott are really not good communicators with one another. But for some reason, me and Ed were communicating beautifully.
Yeah, yeah.
And what we did is like,
Yeah, Scott's he's more,
he's a field guy, not many words,
yeah.
so.
Oh, Jennifer, stay in touch with Jennifer
Yeah.
at Berkshire Public.
But no, he's really good. He gives us field notes for the file. And now what he's doing is he's giving me his detailed itemization that he gives to Jennifer for the billing. So it even has a breakdown even more. So now that we started communicating, we realized we were not, and then I dropped the ball on some payments didn't come in. But we've got those payments back. There's only one payment that we have in question, and that's Mr. Bennett, Leonard.
Yeah.
He gave me a check. I have the check recorded on mine, my spreadsheet, but it's not recorded in any checking account. The treasurer doesn't have record of it. So I had placed it on Leonard to ask him, would he please give me a copy of the back of the check so we can see what account it was put in.
Okay. Well, like I said, I know Dan wants to have a better handle on all the ancillary accounts.
Yeah.
Like council on aging, what Victor spends on booze and,
Yeah, he's taking his town auditor job seriously.
the chief.
No,
Town auditor?
Dan is.
Dan.
Dan is.
For the record, we got our quarterly report from Berkshire Public Health. Bill, but it doesn't say what exactly the report is during that time. So, anyway, we'll file that, and like I said, I think it'd be very good to have going forward, a nice match of what we're getting. Anything on the town plan policy?
No, I haven't continued with those.
Okay. And how about, we should have a timetable timetable for putting all of our records on computer.
Okay.
Whatever you think can be done, let's have a conversation.
Well, I think it would need to be like an itemized list. There's a lot of records we're talking about. I'm thinking that the bylaws are, in my opinion, prioritized higher than minutes.
Yes.
Yeah, so, and really, I would like you to talk to Marilyn and Allison. I'm just a worker for them. Was their idea, their project, so I'm just
Oh, for the
helping.
bylaws, yes.
Yeah, I'm just helping them because I can scan and I can work a file quickly, you know. So I'm just helping them with their plan. I think they want to publish a book and everything, I'm not exactly sure.
I think we should. I think we should make the bylaws accessible.
Now, I have been in our filing projects, finding bylaws, and I don't know, I guess they're gonna have to review them and see if they are really bylaws or not. It could, just because it's in a file doesn't
There
mean,
should be a record of the town adopting it,
you know,
along with the bylaws.
which
Should be.
would be the clerk and the planning commission would have all that, so.
Well, anyway, yeah, so actually Allison should have a copy of all of it. Not even Marilyn, just Allison.
Yeah, I know she's still waiting for, I think, maybe one or two to come back from the state.
Okay, but those are the two most recent though.
Yep.
So there's no reason why we shouldn't be working on the others.
I am, I'm actually working on the subdivision, because that seems to be the topic that we've hit a couple of times.
Yes.
So the zoning and the subdivision ones are the ones that I'm currently digitalizing. And Allison did submit her second year of annual report data.
Okay, is
So-
that the last of it?
No, we have 2 more years from her. But she's pounding them out. She's got a checklist right there. It looks like we're priority. And she's got it right in front of her desk, right there. She sees it every time she sits.
Okay. All right, well, it gives us some hope.
Yeah. So I'm gonna combine the oldest 2 years.
Into one annual report?
Yeah.
No, we should have a separate annual report for each year.
Okay.
And
Okay.
some, town meeting for later.
Okay. We'll have something to provide at the town meeting for sure, the two oldest ones.
Annual report is what we need to provide at the town meeting.
And I know we're waiting for this year, or the last fiscal year to be closed.
Yes,
Dan
we're gonna
stuff.
ask Dan if we're how close we're going to be closed.
So, I mean, that's one of the years that Allison is submitting, it's the same one that Dan's waiting for. So really, there's just one out there we're waiting, that could be completed.
Okay, anything for us? Who's B Sweet and, oh yes, well engineering plans?
Yeah, the Bobby Sweet, yeah.
Yes. Oh. Did that happen?
Yes,
Okay.
I have to do it with break.
Okay. All right, thank you.
So do you want me to bring that cash to the treasurer?
Well, since we read it into the record, we have John Love, $100, and Kelly Major and Parsons for Franklin Woods, $100, for a total of $200 for special permits from the planning board, and we have $50 in cash for a well permit from a civil buyer. Looks like it's all cents. Too shallow well.
Oh, that's a deep well, boy.
We have 2 notices from the town of Lee for public hearing about the did everybody file their conflict of interest?
The majority of them is, I have a thick file to give to Allison. I'm not sure how many she's gotten directly, because that's what the instruction said, is to give them back to Allison, but I have been receiving some, and I have a checklist for her. I'm gonna drop it all off on her desk, so she'll be able to compile hers and mine together and give you a complete picture next time she's in her Zoom.
Okay. As a reminder, the Berkshire Regional Planning is having their third Thursday dinner on the 20th.
I have one question about that. The 20th is a Monday.
Yeah, you're right, it is a Monday. Maybe I copied it wrong. But it's on the Community Preservation Act. They said they're gonna send out another notice, so anybody who might be interested in attending a third Thursday on.
I might,
Yeah.
not if it's on,
No, I understand. If it's on Thursday, maybe it's the 24th, that might be. Community Preservation Act at the ITAM, so I might go to that as well. I'll hear more about that.
Let me see if there's an email in your account regarding that.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, that would be good. Chief, have you bought the floor mats and windshields? It says floor mats and windshields for the new school bus. I think floor mats and something.
Yeah,
window shields.
window shields. Yes, I didn't buy them, but they ordered. I ordered them through Dixon's.
All right.
So when they come in, we'll have them.
All
One other thing that I forgot, this is a brand new year. As you know, that I'm on the board for the BRTA. And being that we don't have much bus traffic up here, are the intentions of the committee members at this time, to even think of possibly wanting to have bus up here?
I've been on that committee too.
Yeah, Mike sits.
I've been saying no for about 10, 15 years. So.
MPO and Mike sits on the TAC, and I think the answer is yes, but, you know, it's not something I think we're gonna break our teeth over.
May I make a suggestion?
Well, you know, well, they weren't gonna play Mount Road either.
I'd make a suggestion is just leave it alone, because if somebody wants to ride in the Pittsfield, I'll give them a ride, but for free. But you know, to have a bus up here, that means you're going to have to start ending up actually asking for a bus to come up here. And I just took a little bit of a, should I say, investigation on how many passengers actually come up to Hinsdale. And more times than not, that bus moves both ways without passengers. And I don't know if it'll do the town any good if we had a bus stop here in front of our town anyway.
Just to, you know, Jeff's still out there, you might just run it by him, whether he thinks there's any appetite among our seniors, you know, to have those.
But there are other things, which I was going to mention to Jeff, is that there, I don't know if it's pro and con about this, is about getting a vehicle from them, which they have the older buses and stuff like that, which there's no cost, but the only prerequisite is that whoever drives that bus has to be trained as a bus driver if you're going to transport.
And that would be kind of an on-call thing for people.
Yes. But see, one of the things is that in this town, we're going to find it very, very difficult to find somebody to do that, because if somebody wants to have a ride down to their doctor's appointment, how many people will we have to be able to do this and set all this type of stuff up? I just want to let you know that that's what happens, you know?
That's a raise.
You want to do it?
No, I had talked previously when I was on the COA with the chairman of the Beckett COA. And there are, because grants come up regularly for buses. And our thought was if we could combine the two COAs for the transportation part, then it would be a doable thing. Maybe certain days, it would be scheduled to go to Pittsfield, certain days to go towards Lee, and maybe 2 days to each, and then the last day maybe just have it for whatever special events they wanted to have. But it would have like a certain schedule that like people could plan their appointments around. If they need to go to Pittsfield, they would try and get their appointments on those days that the bus is going to Pittsfield.
Rose, do you know, will Elder Services service up here, or is that just Elder Services?
For transportation, they will not come up here.
They will not.
We do have at least one housebound senior.
Well, there you go.
And if you have somebody that's going to use their own car, the insurance is more. That's all I'll say, is more. I don't know how much percentage is more, but you have to take on the responsibility of the,
With the
somebody
two
decides
towns,
it.
there'd be enough population and possibly enough money to pay it, but of course, singly, there's not. And there are service incentive grants that may help pay for a driver. through the
I was
COA.
understood, I may be wrong on this, evidently I am, but I thought that these drivers were a volunteer thing.
Versus how many pounds air pressure it was like.
You're gonna find somebody to volunteer.
No, that's
Time
not-
job.
that's one of the big-
Insurance issue.
That's one of the big problems, is the volunteer portion of it.
Right, no, what we were talking about is the pay.
Oh,
And there are service incentive grants that the two towns
So just check it.
could probably get because as two towns applying for it, we'd have a better chance than individual
That might
towns.
be the same thing. I thought this was-
Maybe even Tri-Town.
Yes,
Yeah.
if there was another town that wanted to go in.
Because I think the one was very-
Hey Jeff, Mr. Sutzel, we just heard a lovely idea to get a grant for transportation for our elders.
Victor's new car?
Shared, might be shared among several.
Really?
towns.
Well, that might come as
So
a
you might
I
talk to
think we
Rhodes
talked
on
about
that.
it a little bit before.
I think we did, I just don't remember what, oh, the one back.
Yeah.
One back, I'm sorry. Yeah. Still have it, so, don't mind me.
So do you think it worthwhile? Chase them?
I think so. I think I'm gonna put up a donation box and talk about that, and maybe at the town dump on Saturdays for a while, and maybe people see it, be receptive. Remember that when we go there.
Let me go see Mr.
You're gonna be able to.
That's right.
Hold out.
We want to have these things in place.
That's right. Easy little cancer.
What they do?
I know some of the other people, but I don't know.
They're not here.
Nobody serving the assessors?
Karen, you sent an email. You're too busy with the phone number to call if you need help.
a lot of these things seem simple in nature, but once you start doing these things, you know, you're opening up Pandora's box, you know? Next thing you know, of course, it's always worth a try, but you have to remember that, like I was just informed by this young lady over here, a paid driver, I was always under the impression that it was a volunteer thing. Because when that came up maybe 10, 11, 12 years ago, whatever, and when my wife was running the thing there, and they were thinking about getting a bus, and they could get a bus. And the bus was going to give it to them.
Yes.
No problem,
That's
no money. But the problem is the actual person driving it, and the person is volunteer. You don't pay somebody to make a living off something that,
Volunteer.
yeah,
Well, we say that, but council on aging in all the towns that have an active council on aging, have paid departments, paid directors, paid drivers, paid assistants.
It's one.
right, a stipend, yes.
Yes.
But the problem is how many actual people do you have that are,
I seriously, I don't think we have more than maybe two here right now that really need somebody driving.
that's one of the problems.
However, you
But
may
there may
have
be 15, 20 more.
To give.
They may need to go other places, they're not going to. Well, then,
I wouldn't give it up, but if I had transportation, maybe I would.
well, that's true, there's so many older folks that, well, Dick Art, he only got his license when he had to.
Yes.
He couldn't see, so he had to.
No, that's not the case.
Well, in this case, it is, we're saying that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he passed the test.
yeah, it's passed the test. Do you believe it?
I don't believe it, but he did. He goes in with a walker
Yeah.
and a big cast on around his neck. He goes in there with one eye, and he goes in there and he passes the driver's test. I couldn't believe it.
It's gotta be pretty convenient, though.
It is.
Well, his son actually is the one that took it away.
Yeah.
Took his car and his license.
Well,
Because I
it would
think,
have felt awful.
the father,
And that
I
tends
mean-
to be the case.
yeah, I think that his son actually put an immediate threat against his own father to the registry of motor vehicles to have him taken away. Because wanted me to put the immediate threat on him, all right? And, which I can. But the problem was, that was causing quite a bit of problem. And I didn't want to get the town involved in this, and I suggested him he would do something like that, and evidently
How
he
old
did.
is he?
I don't know, there was something to do with Christ.
Yeah.
He's 80,
James
84.
probably, we spoke to this guy when he was
I
19.
think he's 84.
He said that's enough time.
Yeah.
He get down there in the street, forget where he's
I
going.
had to take my grandfather's from him. He was gonna kill somebody.
The problem is when you live up here, you can't walk to the.
Right, yeah,
You
that's,
can't.
it's your freedom.
I know.
It's more your freedom than it is anything
Yeah,
else.
well,
Remember that, Dick?
if you can do it, that's fine.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, go ahead and walk back from that corner store. It's all downhill to get there, but.
But you gotta make sure that the people who use the bus are senior citizens, that they're not bringing their kids.
No,
You-
I mean, it can be
There's-
decided by the,
There's a lot of rules and regulations pertaining to that bus. I've looked into it a number of years ago.
because it, I mean, it can also transport disabled that don't have to be disabled.
You know,
See what we handle to safety.
yeah,
Citizens.
yes. But also, it'll also carry a person, like say yourself, that's under the age, to help somebody. You can do that, that's another,
An aid.
yeah, an aid. But, you know, you can't use it as a bus to bring all your grandchildren to the mall to go to movies. Bring it to
It's the
Give
service.
me He services you? That's a sick thing to do.
No, it's a lot more complicated and detailed than one thing.
But
All
I
right,
think
a
it's
couple
better.
things,
than-
I forgot to ask Glenn when he was here, he did in fact clarify that a check from Bedford was approved yet. 20 on the open list, and he did give the information of the time case.
Good luck.
to get the grant.
We apparently have, Jody thinks there are 2 more candidates for the assessor's seat, so that's another issue. So the only other thing we have is, except for long-term issues, is, and people structure. What do we have here? It's a failure to adhere to scoring our performance.
Oh, what was that? Deliverance? Wasn't that Deliverance? What we have here is failure to communicate.
Any updates on Wire West?
Basically, MBI has now finished the wiring of the middle mile, and they are moving very closely to officially and openly working with WireWest to do the final connection to homes and businesses. It's creeping closer and closer. What we have now, I think it was as of Christmas, every town in the WireWest region, in the Berkshires, who are members, now has the MBI box within their police station, or town hall, or firehouse, the CAIs, community important buildings. However, now begins a process of testing. The next contractor comes in, they've got to test all of these connections before they throw the big switch that everyone will blow.
So.
So that's going to be a couple of months. After that, we can do from town hall whatever we want. If we want to offer signal here for people to come in and use it, internet connection, we can get an ISP. It won't be to people's homes though, for another year.
When you,
Well,
And you're
365
Well,
days?
the state has set aside earmarked $50 million. That's still in the process, nothing to indicate that won't happen. More money has to be raised, but that'll get us
It's
a
about
lot.
half of it, isn't it?
Excuse me?
Isn't the 50 million about half of what's needed?
Yes.
But that's the whole idea, that we would be sort of a bond issue. But bottom line, it would be premature of us to go out and charge a shot or that's part of the score.
Absolutely.
Mr. Judge as well, hire the rest, is that part of the score? Just that last thing that came around from looked like we should be beating down the doors of these guys, so.
I mean, it's not
No, that-
live in terms of being able to use it.
Not again.
Mr. Sawtell!
I have a question about, we talked about wired west.
Wired west.
Wired way west.
Yeah.
I know you have to have the service plan provided, it has to be wired, it has to get up to the mountain areas, it's really tough to do, but everybody on either side of me can get Verizon's DSL. Because I'm in this position of 4.2 miles from either one of those stations, exactly, thank you. I don't know how that worked out, but why do they put another station up in the middle between, because all these houses that actually branch off could now get that service.
Because they,
Up to Verizon.
So I pay them enough, well, wait a minute, I pay them enough.
Because they don't care, because they are the phone company, they are omnipotent.
the house 400 feet from me has high-speed internet.
And you can.
Really?
My neighbor has it.
But they've got a,
It's very frustrating.
they've got a repeater though up there with
I do.
right?
But it stops 400 feet.
Well, from you, yeah.
And I called and I asked, and I went right up the ladder, and then finally a guy was honest with me, he says, we're not gonna do it.
They're not going to expand it anymore.
We're not gonna.
Approximately 10 or 12 years ago, I called asking, because we were on dial-up, everybody was on dial-up back then. I called, and I ended up talking to some lady in Boston who told me, basically it wasn't on the schedule to bring DSL here. But don't worry, in a year or two, you'll have fiber.
I have to pay $50 a month.
She had no idea where I was.
Just to
He
get
was
my.
probably
Right.
talking about Kellogg's old brand.
It's crazy. But
Mr. Parnell, thank you. Happy New Year, and how are we doing on the books?
Yeah, they're there.
What's your prognosis on getting?
My hope is that I get everything closed by January and get it filed with the state in early February. So, yeah, no.
Okay.
All right.
You think we might have closed in February?
What's that?
We might have closed in February?
Yeah. Oh, you'll have it closed and filed and done before, because I'm going in March, so it'll all be finished.
Okay, that's right. Are we comfortable, we've got good backup for you on your?
Well, we haven't figured that out yet. I don't know if you want to ask Glenn. What we said was you'd probably want to get checks cut if there's a volume in just 2 weeks in, because I'm going away for a month.
Okay.
So Glenn, I could show Glenn how to do it, and then I can post it when I get back. Or you asked Hampshire town and governments, they don't do that kind of
No,
stuff.
I mean, they're useless, they want you,
Right, they want.
when they want something, they'll call you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with one room,
Yeah.
We know where he lives, he's got kids in school, it's not going to stop. Right away.
He needs the money.
Needs the money. Don't we all? Yeah, I get it.
Okay.
I mean, if you're comfortable with it, he's comfortable with it, then sure.
Yeah, I have visibility to everything that happens, so.
So does the NSA.
Yeah.
And anything new on the software?
The town of Hanover is, sent them a file, and they can't open it. We're trying to figure out how they can get a look at the chart of accounts from Vadar. But Vadar files are not easily transferred into Access. I couldn't open it on my my personal PC, and I didn't think they were gonna be able to, and sure enough, they couldn't. So now they want me to create a new access file in ours and export the files from Vadar in and see if that works.
Okay.
Yeah, but they said Excel, it's big files, they're big files, so they wanted to go access to access. So, we'll see. One thing, I don't know if I mentioned this, I think Rebecca, our contact,
Yeah.
she's now the CEO of the CSC. They appointed her CEO and executive director, so that's a good thing.
That's a very good thing, yeah.
So,
That's a baby.
but there's no problem with us using the software if we can figure out how to get it working.
If we figured out Vadar, we could figure this out.
No, I mean, shy of recreating everything, which will take a long time, but, I mean, it'd be nice if we could import it and work from there, modify it, but, so we'll see.
That's excellent, that's excellent, okay. All right. Anything for us?
No, we're trying to figure out Glenn gave me the bank rec from Kathy, I'm trying to figure that all out, and everything. Most of the work is done, it's now I just gotta pull it all together and refresh my memory what's left to be done. Come to hate this.
Okay.
So,
I like your computer, Gene.
It's nice, yeah, it's quiet.
I'm not tripping over the cord.
Right.
oh, we got the Berkshire Public Health Alliance bills in there.
Yes, it was, we signed off on it, so.
Yeah,
I asked Jody to put together a document showing what we got, what we paid, because it should be this, over time, we want to make sure even if we're not charging enough to offset it, we want to do that as a conscious decision. And you want to know where the money's going.
Well, I was a bit concerned that we didn't have enough money, but I went through the reconciliations. We had an open one for last year that we never paid. We had plenty of money in last year's appropriation between that and what was in the revolving account. So with the revolving account, I'm just gonna carry it forward until we get a little bit of time and know how all this process works. Instead of taking it as revenue and then being short this year, I'll just carry it forward.
No, just this is normal, yeah, that makes sense.
So,
Okay. Very good. I think we're
Motion to go watch the BCLS.
motion to go watch football.
Did you guys talk about watching on the road?
We did.
Yeah, did you miss it?
You missed it?
Yeah, we
I
had
gave
an
a full
update on
update.
that. Would you care to give the update again?
Go through all that
What
again?
did you do, walk out?
Nothing, yeah, I did. Nothing's happening, I guess.
I ran into the state engineer today, and I
They're
asked
sort of
him, I
answers.
said, "Well, anything new?" And he said, "Nope, nothing."
No
I said,
news
"What
is
about
good.
the- What about, it? Did it go out to bid?" He said, "Nope, nothing."
It's supposed to go out in December, isn't it?
Yeah. It's the state.
Yeah.
there's some really nice potholes on it.
We're
right?
only 6
Oh, they're gonna get better.
months into the year. We're
They're
only
gonna get better this year, I can tell.
Okay.
Oh,
And I will be putting on our agenda tomorrow for next week, because, yeah, I don't know if so I won't be here Thursday. And I'm not one of these
Are you
people.
like a part-time resident here?
I'm not one of these
Sail
people
in the
who have a
Caribbean?
magic pad or something that allows me to connect to the interwebs no matter where I am.
Why not?
Because I don't want to. That's why. I only thought cell phones were a good idea once I realized you could turn it in and things off.
You got one like mine?
Yeah, no, actually, mine may be older and premier than that.
Yeah. Right, yeah.
Cool, how's that?
Mine has a smaller screen.
I've got a hotsy
Oh, no,
totsy
yeah, you got it.
iPhone, and let
What's
me
he
tell
got?
you, I answer the phone, I send emails, and I play,
All kinds of things on that thing.
oh yeah,
Ah,
everybody's.
play one game.
Well, you're a very important person. You have to run the entire school district, you know, all we do is.
exactly.
No, just